Hi and welcome. Today's video is about the truth behind opinions. Everybody expresses an opinion and they can hurt. So what do you do whenever someone gives you an opinion and it may be displaced or it may cause harm? Well, in today's video, I'm going to share with you what to do in those situations. And I'm going to start with my projector story. So it's been about 2 months now. I was watching a movie, and in my living room, I have a projector of like a movie screen setup situation. So I was watching a movie, and then I walked out of that room to go into the kitchen to get a snack. And so a commercial came out while I was watching that movie. And I did not want to watch a commercial. I wanted to watch the movie and I wanted to eat my snacks. So in that instance, I had the remote and I just pointed at the wall where the projector was to turn it off. And it didn't work. I'm in the kitchen and I'm watching this in the living room. And I'm like, why isn't it working? I'm pointing it at the wall where the screen is. And in that instance where I just kept trying to flick it off, I realized something. That where I was pointing the remote at the wall, this wasn't a TV screen, it's projecting something. So I was pointing at the wall, but since I was kind of in the kitchen in another room, kind of catty corner, it wasn't working. So when I stepped out of the kitchen, I was in that room, I looked at the projector and I said, oh, pointed at the projector and it went off. Why do I mention that story to you, especially when this video is about opinions and dealing with them and when they're misplaced? Well, in that instance, when I saw an image, I was so focused on the image that I was trying to control the projection, the image. But it wasn't until I got out of the kitchen and went to the living room and flicked the remote at the actual projector, the thing that is projecting the image to be seen, that it actually worked. Why? Well, about 10% of our conscious brain is used and normally in one time. And then so verbally we use about 10-ish%. So in the projector, the 90% of what needs to be done, dealt with, worked with is the projector. But what was projected, what captured my attention, what catches your attention, what we look on is just the 10%. So if I wanted to fix the problem, I had to go to the source and not the projection that they were spewing out. So this projector selector instance brings to your awareness that you are always in control. And for instances where you're not in control and there's an opinion being expressed externally, don't focus so much on the opinion, that's the 10%. Focus on the 90% where it came from, the source. So that also reminds me of the law of relativity because opinions are relative. What is projected out is just a small percentage, and that is still relative because it's filtered is through the lens of the person who is telling it. So the law of relativity, and I have the universal laws, and I'm going to reference this one, which is number 9. The law of relativity states the challenge is to remain connected to your heart and that there is always someone in a worse space than you are. You are blessed, and it's all based upon how you see it because it's all relative anyway. What is relative? Relative just means it's not a hardcore fact. It could be argued. The sky is blue is kind of a hardcore fact. 1 + 1 = 2. So that's kind of like a hardcore fact. But the fact that you could have performed better, the fact that someone thought that you were talking too much, the fact that someone thinks you're doing too much or not enough is all relative. So the law of relativity states that unless it's a hardcore fact, it's relative. It's someone's opinion. They're putting it off on you. All right. So I'm going to share another story that kind of displays the law of relativity and also about this topic of opinions and expressing them. So I remember maybe about 8 years ago, there was a girl, back when it was cool or popular to say, oh, you stupid. Someone be like, oh, I'm late for work, you stupid. Or, oh, I didn't see I had mac and cheese for lunch, I skipped it. Oh, you stupid. So this was back when the oh, you stupid thing was popular. So I was working at a tech company at the time, and there was an employee that just loved to say, "You stupid, you stupid, you stupid, you stupid." Some of us knew that it was just a term of endearment, but I do remember there was one person who was called stupid in an endearing way. So to that person, what was relative to her was she was insulted. She reported her to HR. She was not happy. Okay, so that's one perspective that she saw. You said I'm stupid, and I went to HR. So I happened to be on the HR team at the time. So we talked to that person who was offended. You called me stupid. We talked to the other employee that said, "Girl, you stupid." It didn't mean anything by it. We talked to some other employees, and we had a sense of that it was just a term of endearment. Now, for the person that had an issue, saw only one perspective. They did not look at the perspective of the other employee, did not ask questions to see more than that. Now, that could be a problem if you only see one angle and you give your opinion. That could be problematic. So, to prevent you from doing what other people do to you, and you deal with them by realizing it's relative, what they're sharing is relative. But to help you not be like them, I have an exercise that I want you to do. So I want you to go on the four corners of a building, typically your house or where you work, and then you would write down description of what your house or apartment or work building or whatever you're at looks like from one side. Write it down. And then go to the other side. Typically there's four sides to the house. So go to different sides and write down what you see only from that side. Not what you know about the building, but what you see. Okay, so whenever you go back and look at the descriptions for each side, you will see that whenever you gave your opinion or your thoughts about the house, it was partially incorrect because you wrote an opinion or what you saw from one side of the house. But it wasn't until you walked around the entire circumference and looked at all your notes and looked at it that you had a more holistic, more appropriate, more bountiful, better to use opinion with more meat and potatoes behind it. So that's what I want you to realize. When someone gives an opinion to you and it doesn't sit well with you, ask yourself, did they walk around all four corners of my house to really give a robust and responsible opinion? Or did they just see the front of the house and just gave an opinion about the entire thing and moved on? So it's real important to be holistic. It's real important to realize what's actual factual, what's relative, and what isn't. So that's all that I have for you today on this short video. And I hope you enjoy. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. And I hope you enjoyed the truth behind opinions. See you later. Bye-bye.